Hey, y'all.
Hello.
How's everybody? Hey.
How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Come on in. Come on in. Let me admit, I got to admit some more people. They just coming in, admit everybody.
Good.
Oh, this is going to be fun. You know, I always feel like I'm throwing a party when I'm doing these webinars because they are so much fun. While we're waiting for folks to get in, get your snacks, get your tea, get your coffee, whatever you need, your little wine, whatever you do. So come on in, because yeah, tell me where you guys are from. Sherry from Beverly Hills.
Greensboro, North Carolina.
All right, Greensboro. I love it.
Atlanta, GA.
Oxford, Brooklyn.
Atlanta, Portland, Oregon.
Brooklyn.
New York, Hackensack, Pinehurst, Brooklyn. I'm loving it. DC.
Fort Washington, Maryland.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Brookville, Maryland.
Melbourne, Florida.
Melbourne, Florida. Oh my God. Virginia Beach. What a good group we've got coming here. Oh, this is wonderful. Wonderful. I am so excited to see everybody.
Just wanted to let you know I've been watching you since Inside Edition, and when I was in college, I watched your show every day.
You did? Well, God bless you. I couldn't have been here without you. One of the things that I can say for sure is that you have seen me in many reinvention moments since those days.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I have done a lot of things. Listen, a lot of times because I wanted to, and a lot of times because I had to.
Right.
Listen, life happens while we're living it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You know, what was hot one day may not be hot the next. I decided to go into acting. When the acting wasn't happening, I had to find something else. So this talk today is going to be perfect for those of you who are in reinvention mode. Listen, welcome to the joys of voice acting. I'm Rolonda Watts, and I would say, depending upon where you are, how old you are, you know, what you like to watch is how you know me. As you just heard right here in the first few minutes of our conversation, some people go back to the news, some people remember the talk show, but I've done a lot of different things. And like I said, it's sometimes we choose to reinvent ourselves because we really want to, because we have a burning desire to do something we've always dreamed of. And then sometimes we have to make a change. I'm sure that you guys are here for many different reasons. There could be some of you who have just like you've been told all your life, you have the most wonderful voice. You really know how to use that instrument of yours. You should go into voice acting. And you just said, you know, that's something I've always wanted to do, but you never knew where to start. I mean, where do you begin in this industry that you know nothing about? I mean, where do you start? Who do you talk to? What's a voiceover anyway? Some of you are here because you may be empty nesters. You know, the kids are gone. It's time for you to start thinking about yourself. Maybe you finally got that big breakup you were waiting for all this time. The kids are gone, and now it's time for you. It's you time. Maybe that's the transition you're in. Maybe you're just bored with your job and you're just looking for something more exciting and creative to do. Can I get a yes on that in the chat room if you fit any of those categories? Yes. Or maybe, listen, you're not alone if you're in this category. You got the pop surprise. You had no idea your job, the rug just got pulled out from under your feet. You know, things change in life. You just retired. Your whole life has been working and creating and doing new things. And now you're retired. You're looking for something new to do to keep you jazzed and alive. Well, let me tell you something. For all the people I just mentioned, and put a yes. If anything I said in there hit you, put a yes in the chat, because you're not by yourself. Yes, yes. Listen, some of you may be voice actors already, and you've hit a slump. You're not getting hired like you used to. You're not booking like you used to. And you're wondering, what in the world went wrong? What happened? I've been at all of those places, every single one of them. I've had the rug pulled out for, listen, I'm in an industry, y'all think I've reinvented myself so much because I'm in an industry where you have to be ready for change. You know, in acting and even talk shows and news, you know, a lot of times you might outage yourself. Maybe you're not the pretty little skinny girl at that time anymore. Things change. One thing about the voice industry, I can play a 20-year-old skinny girl if I want to. I can play a 108-year-old frog if I want to. I can play a big old beastly woman if I want to. I can play a pirate 13-year-old boy if I want to. And I've done all of that. The beautiful thing about voice acting, I can work from anywhere, anytime, at any age, from a wheelchair, even if I have a horn growing out of my nose. And what I'm going to talk to you about today is I just want to unlock some of the myths of voice acting. Voice acting is one of my favorite careers. You might have heard me as Professor Wiseman on Curious George. You might have heard me as the evil mayor Betsy Holiday working with Tyler Perry on Sherry. It's a craft that you can do from anywhere at any age at any time. The question is, what does it really take? And a lot of you have been told you have beautiful voices all your life. A lot of you will walk into a doctor's office and the receptionist goes, "Oh my God, your voice. Are you in the voice business? You've heard that all your life." I'm going to disprove a couple of myths for you throughout this webinar too. And many people think it's because you have a great voice, but your voice really has nothing to do with it at the end of the day. It's about what kind of actor are you? It's a wonderful art. It's a magnificent business. It's a solopreneurship. So many of you are looking to be entrepreneurs. And I always say that when you're in transition, if you don't go within, you go without. When you are looking for that next big move, it's not out here, folks. It's not out here. Somebody's going to give me that job. Somebody's going to discover me. Somebody's going to save me. No, it's all within. And if we don't go within, we go without. Here's one of my students. I'm so proud of her. Welcome, Lieutenant Commander Lori Campbell. Lori Campbell was in transition. She's a vet. She's one of the folks who has defended this nation in the Navy. She was retiring. She was looking to find something new to do that was not military, something more creative. She's got one of the most beautiful Louisiana husky voices, you know. And so she came to my class. And today, Lori is the voice of the Navy and helping more vets in voice, working with DreamWorks and NBC Universal and the rest. She is doing it. So as we go along today, I'm going to point out some folks because I'm so proud of what everybody in this webinar is doing. And that is taking that first action step. So my first thing to each of you and all of you is congratulations. I'm so proud of you because you're taking that first step. And by the end of this hour and few minutes that we have, I want you to be able to ask questions at the end. You know, I want some Q&A time. I'm going to make I have a very special announcement I want to make to you to help you take, if the webinar is enough, I got some more information I want to share with you so that you could really stay focused on what could be a change of your life, to be honest with you. You know, it all starts, I have a motto that I always say that when you're prepared, you're no longer scared. And a lot of you have this burning desire to be a voice actor, to use your creativity, to use your voice, even as, listen, my voice, even as raspy and deep as it is, there's a place for me. The beautiful thing is that voices are like snowflakes. They're no two alike. So you say, do I have a place in this business? Of course you do, because there's no other voice like yours. The only thing you've got to do is understand how the business works. What are they looking for? How do I even step out and get the attention of somebody who could give me a job? I remember when I started, I said to my mentor, I said, can you really make a living doing this? That was Dave Fenoy, he was my mentor and still is today, and one of the number one voices in video games, and a wonderful man. And he said to me, basically, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. I know also, having been there, that, and Lori, you remember when we were starting in the business, it's just so nebulous. It's not anything you can really touch. So you wonder, can you really do this? How does it work? I mean, how do you get from point A of desire to actually getting hired and making work for this? Well, those are the things you have to understand in terms of understanding how the business works, what casting directors are looking for, what agents are looking for, what's expected of you in the industry. And also the beauty of finding what your voice can do. The voice is one of the most precious instruments on earth. And you just don't jump out and play a cello because you desire and you love the sound of it. You don't run out and play the piano or violin. It takes training. The voice is an instrument, just like any other instrument. And we want to respect and approach it that way. It's not about the equipment, It's not about the room that you're in. It's not about your accent or your lack of one. It's all about the acting. That's what it's all about. Now, let me back up a little bit and tell you a little bit. I think most of y'all know who I am, but I have spent 40 years behind a microphone. And most of that has been, reporting and a talk show host. And then when I finished my talk show, I decided I was going to fulfill a dream I'd always wanted. I'd always wanted to be an actor. I had majored in theater arts at Spelman College. I had wanted to go to New York straight to acting, but there weren't a lot of roles for people like me back in the 70s and 80s. And so I fell in love with journalism and went that route. But I always wanted to be an actor. So when I finished my talk show, I decided, I don't want to sit on a porch at 100 years old going, I coulda, woulda, shoulda, if I'd only tried. I just wasn't going to live with that kind of regret. I don't care if I went out from New York to LA to Hollywood. And let me tell you, when I was going out to Hollywood, they were saying, don't be over 30 and don't even be Black and want to work in Hollywood. This was before diversity and stuff. And I said, screw that. I'm going to do it anyway, because I'm not going to put my dream on hold because of what other people say. So I went out to Hollywood. My first job was Sister. Now this was after years of being a news reporter at New Jersey Network, WNBC, WABC, Inside Edition, then doing the Rolonda show, my own internationally syndicated talk show. And I also did another talk show called Attitudes on Lifetime Television, which was a fleeting moment of 9 months, and then they canceled the show. This stuff happens. So I end up in California. I'm ready to be an actor. I get a job on Sister. I'm playing Vivica. I'm doing Jamie Foxx. I'm doing all the sitcoms. I am doing it in LA. And then the writers went on strike. I had given up everything. My news career, my talk show career. I had given up everything to go be an actor. And doggone it, if it wasn't the longest strike in Hollywood history. All the writers walked out, and it was 6 months they were gone, but it meant 9 months of being unemployed as an actor. And I said, doggone it, what am I going to do? I went from being an internationally syndicated talk show host to serving pizza slices on a picket line to my writer friends, unemployed, bought a house. I said, what in the world am I going to do? And I said, I am not going to go back My mama was like, now you can always go back and spit some news. Maybe you need to get another talk show. But that isn't what I wanted for my life. I wanted to live a creative life and be more creative. So I said, what am I going to do? I'm not going to go back. What can I do in this meantime? So I took a course. I had to keep my acting chops going. I took a course in something I'd never tried. I wanted to try something new. Now, I'd always known I had a voice. I would call 411. Y'all remember back in the day when you called 411 and the operator would say, is this Rolonda? And I'd say, yeah, girl. And they'd say, the Rolonda. And I said, now, you know, there's only one. And the operator and I would chit chat and talk. And I had this recognizable voice. So I just knew I was going to make it in this career. I said, doggone it, I'm going to make it. I'm going to take this class. I'm going to learn this thing. And so the strike was in 2000. I had come out to LA in 1998. The year 2000, the strike hit. Now, skip back a minute here. I was doing all the promos for my talk show, but I had no idea that was a voice actor's job. I had no idea. That's the thing I think a lot of people go through is they don't really know what voice acting is. I say it like this. Anytime you hear a voice and you don't see the mouth flapping, that's a voiceover actor getting paid. You hear it in movie trailers, in commercials. I got a commercial with Katie Couric right now. Let me tell you the places your voice will take you. And I'm going to wrap back. Let me complete the story about the strike and how taking that class really changed my life. Because it gave me, when my physical acting wasn't happening, it gave me some tools to have a backup plan. That if I wasn't the trend of the month, the it girl in physical acting, that I had a backup plan. And quite honestly, still to this day, my voice works more than my physical self does. And it's amazing where your voice can take you, whether you're doing audio books or movie trailers or promos or animation or what else? Video games, e-learning. Y'all better get some notes. Dubbing. Yes, Isabella. Take a notepad throughout this hour, y'all. I always say note takers are money makers. I see you, Jason. You reminded me to take those notes. Dubbing, ADR. That's what it's called. Automatic digital replacement. That's another fancy way to say dubbing. You're going to learn vocabulary. One of the ways to break into this industry is you have to understand the language. If they say you have an ADR session, what in the world? That means audio digital replacement. Basically, it's dubbing. Why is that so big? Because there's so much streaming going on worldwide today that they need us voice actors to dub in English a lot of these foreign actors. Think about the person who plays Tom Cruise in Germany. Who's the person who plays Halle Berry in France? Every time those actors come up with a movie, those actors in those countries are getting paid and they're just as famous. They're the voices. I just did a project where they've got this new murder mystery coming from Brazil. And they have an I'm playing the voice of an actor or an actress who is one of the main leads. I pray this woman gets more American work because that means I'm going to work again. But we had to go into the studio and we had to match the mouth. And when she's stretching through the woods, you got to breathe. You got to do everything. It's just fabulous. It's so much fun. That's a whole nother form of acting. Let me tell you another great place to hear voices. When we get on the subway in New York City. Those voices that you hear, watch for closing doors, please. Ka-ching! A voice actor just got paid. I always use that example because the voices that we hear become the fabric of our lives. That we always know that. I love it when I go to, when I'm away from New York and somebody hears me who's from New York. And this one lady said one time, she goes, "You're the voice of home." I said, "Thank you." But no matter how recognizable your voice is and how beautiful, because most people have, there's so many people who have these beautiful voices, until you really know how the industry works and how to act with your voice, you'll be behind the eight ball. So I'm glad that you're here so that you're getting some really good insight. But the beautiful thing is that for the first time, I think, and I've been behind the microphone for 40 years, and 30 of those pretty much have been, almost 30 have been as a voice actor. And I've got to tell you, it used to be a back in the day, they would say, well, you're a promo person, or you're a commercial person, or you just do animation. Everybody wanted to put you in a little box. The world has changed now. You can do all the different genres. And that's why it's important to get yourself in some training situation so that you can really test the range of your own voice. So many of us are like, "Oh, I hate my voice. I just can't listen to my voice." And trust me, I did my whole audiobook of my own book, and I can't even listen to myself. I cringe listening to myself that long. But so you're not by yourself. Even those of us who are in the industry have the same thing. But your voice is so beautiful, and there's so many things that you can do with it that you don't even know yet. When people come to my class, I always laugh because we do a lot of warm up. It's so important because your voice is an instrument. It's very important that you warm up your voice. The more you warm up the voice, the more range you have. You just won't be right here, but you can go really deep, and you can go really high, and you can go really hoarse, and you can try things like that. I got a character who's coming out, talks like this. So you can try different things. And so really get yourself, as I give you tips along the way today, really make sure that you get yourself in a place that you have fun. This is a craft of fun and imagination. Let me be totally honest with you. When you start doing voice acting, you will probably make sounds that you haven't made since you were 4 years old. You're going to be doing crazy stuff that you haven't done since you were 4 years old. Remember going, that's one of the ways we warm up our voices. The whole donkey. 41 muscles right here. In this one face, 41 muscles that you need to warm up so you can wrap around those words and really emote. And it's about your imagination. I was talking about this week, you might have seen on my Instagram page, I went into the studio to do a session for efforts. Now, I know you're going like, efforts, what is that? Now, we talk about vocabulary. Let me see if I can find this. We talk about vocabulary, and I was sharing some behind the scenes of something I had done. Let's see if I can play it for you here. Hold on one second. Did I share? So, hey, y'all, it's really good to be in the booth again. Today, I was working here at Digital Arts Studio in Lower Manhattan, working on a special project that we have coming out for Cartoon Network. I can't tell you what it is. I'm sworn to secrecy. But today I had to come in, and this was a fun session. We did efforts. And efforts are those noises that the characters make when they're fighting, or they're sighing, or they're attacking somebody. I had to grunt and groan and sigh and laugh and drop from a building. I had a lot of noises to make today. But that's the fun of being an animation. You just don't use words. Sometimes it's the sounds that you can make. And that's what we call efforts. You do that a lot in video games and animation. And today was quite an effort to get those efforts out. Stay tuned. More tips coming later. Now, see, that's fun because then you might end up doing on divorce court today. Those aren't efforts. But if you did like this, like I play Alawi, who's in a video game. This is some of the stuff that, let's see, where are we? And this is fascinating. Alawi is a
You are not in motion. This will be quick. To live is to fight. You will be tested.
Now, she's a fighter, and she's one of the champions in League of Legends, which is $1 billion a day game, where the voice actors are always fighting to say, okay, everybody else is getting that kind of money. When are the voice actor is going to get that kind of money? $1 billion a day? And that was a million years ago.
You are in motion. You have been tested. You have done well. Move! Now! Learn! Altak kai sayu. Altak kai sayu.
Sometimes
Altak kai.
you might even have to speak a different language. This is a language that's all made up for this character. And when you're creating a character, look at this character. I was so proud that in video games to get to play a woman who's so powerful, but she wouldn't speak like this, would she? So really embodying the characters that we do, that's where the fun of it is too. Developing great characters to make her bellows because she's so big, and also using different accents. You know, you listen, she's got a West African kind of accent flair. I was trying to
Sayu. Uwan shayos kaya. Uwan shayos kaya. Dua shakya.
But those are the types of fun projects. But that's the other thing that remember, it's just not, you know, some people think voiceover is coming in and talking like this. In fact, let me tell you about 3 myths that people think, 3 of the biggest misconceptions. One of the number 1 misconceptions is I have to have a perfect voice. I have to have one of those voices like this. I have to have a voice that is like broadcaster voice. That is the last thing you need right now. And let me tell you this, the voice industry has changed tremendously since after COVID, since Black Lives Matter, since the Me Too movement, since diversity and inclusion. All of these things have affected our industry. There used to be a time when all you heard were voices that were Midwestern voices that sounded very broadcast, that sounded very no accent, very, very bland. That isn't the way it is today. If you listen, you hear more voices with texture and accents. I was going to tell you, I was talking about the subway example. I always use the subway example because I love that guy on the subway. Watch for closing doors, please. I love, next time you get on the subway, listen to all the voices. There's this one woman who tells you, she's got that New York kind of chewy accent, and she kind of tells, she's total New Yorker, okay? You expect her to be sitting next to you on the subway. And she tells you to watch your bags, be sure to tell something if you see something, watch for your belongings. And I always use, do you know, I was in a class teaching and this lady raised her hand and Valina goes, that's me. I said, what? I was so honored to have the New York City subway lady in my class. And she said, I'm taking your class because I think I need to get rid of that New York accent. I have some people who come and say they want to get rid of their Southern accent. And I say, well, why don't you just cut off your right arm while you're at it? Because that's who you are. What you bring to this table is everything about what will help you be successful in it. This is not about sounding perfect anymore. It's not about having voices that sound like they haven't been anywhere, that vanilla kind of Midwestern American voice. We want accents now. We want real people talking. You hear it everywhere. Listen to the radio. This week, I want you to listen to everything. Commercials. People think I'm crazy because I'm a grown woman. I could be somebody's grandma and I listen to cartoons all day. That's my business. I'm in Legos, Madagascar, Curious George, Kulapari Army of Frogs. They used to tell me as a kid I sounded froggy. Now I play the queen of frogs, the chief of frogs. I heard somebody, I was just at the VO Atlanta conference, and somebody said, you know what? I used to make up a bunch of little voices when I was a kid. And as an adult now, I make sure all of them get paid. So a lot of the things that you did as a kid, you will really be able to apply here. But remember, it's really what you bring. Your authenticity in this business is what is going to make you successful. Not thinking you have to have the perfect voice. In fact, your voice, the way you talk day to day, is what is going to help you win this gig. Why? Because, you know, something I think, but because of the political issues that we've had and the racial issues that we've had and the Me Too. I mean, we've been battered as a nation, and COVID and all of this stuff. For the past 4 years, I think we have just been battered. And so I think the American public is saying, I want to hear voices that are more compassionate, that are more empathetic, that sound like people I know. So that is really what's happening and trending in the business today. Not that old broadcast voice, even in cartoons and animations. It used to be everything was wild like that. And commercials used to be everybody buy this. You don't hear that so much anymore. It's like, hey girl, where'd you get those clothes? Oh, at Ross, which one? You're talking like you are real people. One of the toughest things you're going to face is learning how to be yourself. You're going to have to learn acting, number one, and you're going to have to act like heck to sound like you're not acting at all. That is the toughest thing. That's why this industry is so much about practice. Like any other instrument, it's practice, 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 and then practice some more. Another myth. Some people believe, oh, I'm going to need a lot of money for this industry. It's going to cost me so much money to get a microphone and a studio and da. No. Do you know where most of us are doing our work? I'm going to dispel some myths here, y'all. I'm just going to pour the tea and tell you the truth. This ain't a fancy gig, okay? As I tell people, this is the gig I do in my pajamas and no lashes. A lot of times I'm in my pajamas, in my closet. Most of us, our studios are in our closets, y'all. We don't have fancy studios. We don't spend a lot of money on microphones. Now, in the beginning, I would say don't spend and I wouldn't spend more than $130 for a microphone. There you go. That's what you got, the Yeti, Jason?
I got the Yeti for under $100 on Amazon.
There you go. And it's just as good as anything. In fact, during COVID, one of our friends recorded a Subway commercial using the Yeti. Now, listen, some people like to walk around the car and kick the tires. Talk about the spark plugs, but I'm not that girl. I just say, get you a good mic. When you have done, you pay for that mic on your first gig. You know, the sponges, what does it cost to put sponges in your closet? I tell people I wouldn't even spend money on sponges if you don't have to, because you've got blankets, all those old blankets sitting around the house, those summer sweaters you're not using. Boxes of stuff. Put it in your closet, squeeze in there. All you need is for your mouth to fit. When I tell you you do this job from anywhere, there are times when I was on vacation and did Sherry, because I'm the voice of the Sherry Shepherd Show. I did Sherry's promos from a closet under an ironing board with a blanket over me. Me, my computer, we're all up under there, covered up, just as long as there's no sound. The main thing is you don't want any reflective sound, but you don't have to spend a lot of money to achieve that. You've seen those sponges, those sponge pads that you can easily get on Amazon and put in any reflective spaces. Remember that there you go. Jason, you are my demo man today. Thank you. Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Jason, you don't spend a lot of money on those, right? They're on
No,
Amazon.
this is pretty inexpensive, and I got about 100 of these for like $40.
Exactly. Be sure they're just little things, that's another important thing to remember is that you really need to understand how the microphone works also. You want to make sure that that you know how to approach the mic. You don't want to be further than this away from a microphone, unless of course you're screaming, then you need to be back, or you're doing a Calgon Take Me Away commercial and you need to lean in. Learning how to work the microphone is also a part of this, and also understanding the vocabulary. So you don't need a fancy voice. You don't need fancy equipment. And some people say, well, now, Ro, what about me? I'm going to choke. I'm going to have the imposter syndrome. Can I really do this? I'm going to say this one more time. You're going to hear me say this 50 million times. When you're prepared, you are no longer scared. When you understand what the industry is all about and what it expects of you, what your sound space is supposed to sound like, how you're supposed to approach that mic, how you break down scripts and build delicious characters and scenes. Even if you're in, I had a friend, this story, it just breaks my heart every time I tell it because it just, he was an engineer and he worked in the music industry. And so he understood engineering. I mean, he could make a slamming demo reel. He understood how the microphone worked and all that stuff. A lot of us have those skills. And he would make up funny voices and everybody would laugh. And so somebody said, well, you need to put those voices down. Okay, Mike, I see you're an engineer. Listen to this. Listen to this story, because he understood all the technical stuff. So he used to make up voices in the studio. So everybody said, you needed to be a voice actor. So he said, well, I could do a demo reel. Why not? So he put all his funny voices on a demo reel and he put the music behind it and the sound effects because he's an engineer. He knew how to do it. So he sent it out and some casting directors loved what he did and brought him in. They liked this one character that he did. They said, please bring him in. Come on in. We want to hear that character. The engineer called me when it was all over and he said, Rolonda, he said, I choked. He said, they asked me, okay, now do it again, but make it brighter and put more smile in it. And could you do 3 in a row? And he was like, what? He's like, could you add a little more gain to it and just back off the mic just a little bit more and give us a little more timbre in the voice? And he was like, what? And he said, I choked. And I'm thinking, no, you blew an entire production time and they're never going to forgive you for that. And it just broke my heart because here he was thinking that all he had to do was go in there and make up the funny voices. The demo reel said, but that's not what it was about. It wasn't about the technical stuff as much as the technical stuff in your throat. You have to understand the techniques of acting and therefore the techniques of voice acting, which also includes understanding the business. Yes, Jason, it's a business too. You don't want to blow it. You get one time to make a first good impression. And the last thing you want to do is blow it in front of a bunch of people who have an opportunity to give you some work or to hire you. So really be prepared. The thing also is you have to have a demo reel. I think that's really important. Some people say if you're good, you don't need one. Well, I think if you're beginning, you really need a demo reel. What's a demo reel? A demo reel is really no more than about a minute 30 of your best work. It shows you at your best. Can you make a demo reel? No. Leave it to the professionals. Now, I know some of y'all got podcasts and you produce your own podcast, and I know that you're really good at Audacity and GarageBand and editing your own stuff. But if you're trying to be industry standard and really want the attention of casting directors and agents, I would strongly suggest that you get a professional to do your demo reel. What's a demo reel? Well, it's an example. It shows a range of your work. Like, for instance, let's say I want to do commercials. Well, show me your range in a minute, and about a minute, 10, 15 seconds. That's about 3 to 5 different voices that show your range. In commercial, I would say, okay, Lori, I want to hear you as a teacher. I want to hear you as a nurse, and I want to hear you as a mom, a sweet mom, and a sassy mom. Those are 4 different voices. So in one genre, and each of your demo reels will represent a different genre, because if I want to hire you, Robert, and say, I want to hire you for an animation project, I don't want to have to sift through all your promo and commercial stuff to get to the animation. If I want you for animation, I only want to hear animation. What are your voices for animation? Well, you might play a soldier. You might play a dad. You might play a frog. You know, remember this too when we're doing animation. It's just not playing humans. Remember when you were a kid, like I say, everything you're going to do in voice acting is probably coming from when you were 4 years old. Even the efforts. Remember how we used to run through the woods? Dun 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 dun. We had our own soundtrack. Then we fight. You killed me. You know, all that stuff. That's what animation is about. And video games. Tapping into that same kind of stuff. And also, you know, as you're growing and learning how to build characters, a lot of the characters are not all the way out there all the time. Sometimes they're just being the truth of who you are yourself. And I'm going to tell you, those acting techniques are everything, y'all. They're everything about being a voice actor. Voiceover is voice acting. You know, if I'm selling you insurance, Dennis Haysbert has a beautiful voice, but it's his assurance that we buy into. He's not selling insurance. Allstate hired that man because he makes me believe in blessed assurance. McDonald's doesn't sell hamburgers. Ray Kroc ain't in the business of selling hamburgers. In fact, as much as I love McDonald's, and forgive me because I've done McDonald's commercials, McDonald's is not the best hamburger in the entire world. I mean, come on, let's face it. But what does the brand stand for? This is understanding your clients too. McDonald's sells, who can guess what McDonald's sells? Somebody put that in the chat. What is McDonald's selling if they don't sell hamburgers? Fast food. That's hilarious. Convenience, experience, heart attacks. Hilarious. Efficiency, the brand, jingles, friendship. You're getting there. Americanism, pounds, consumption. Ba 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 ba. Smiles. That's right. They're selling fun. Obesity, kids' memory, happiness. Nancy, ding, 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 ding. You got it. McDonald's sells happiness. That's why there's the clown and their Happy Meals and they got playgrounds outside. So when you get a script to do a McDonald's commercial, I want to hear your smile. When you say something one way and then you say it again with a smile, I can hear it. Not only understanding the product, but what the client wants from you. Just like we talked about Dennis Haysbert. Somebody put in here, I love that man. I trust him. I do too. Didn't he play the president? I think he's got that thing going. So basically that's it. I want to take some questions from you too. You know, because I think that I want to answer some of your questions, but I also want to just stress to you again, just the 3 things I wanted to make sure that if you have any interest in this business, it's something you can do at any age, at any time. It allows you flexibility. Can you make money? Yes, you can make money in this business. Is it easy? No, it's not an easy business. Are you going to like wonder what the heck you are doing half the time? Yep. Because even the number one people in this business do 100 auditions. Joe Cipriano, who you hear everywhere, he's the voice of ESPN, he's the voice of ABC, all the networks. He said he does 100 auditions before he gets a gig. I save all of my auditions. In fact, I got them over here. I ought to show them to you. They are piled up to almost my hip of all the auditions I've had, and maybe this much of them are jobs. But I tell you what, when you get that job, it's like golfing. Ping! Oh, that's what gets you back out there again. So be prepared. No, it does not cost a lot of money to get started. It does not. So don't go out there spending a bunch of money. Get in your closet. Number two, you can do it from anywhere, anytime. Now, of course, if you have if you get a VO session and the studio wants you there at a certain time, that's of course a job of work. But when you get auditions, I would suggest you get your auditions in sooner than later. But you know, you have a little flexibility, so you can do another job, and this can be your side hustle. I've had one student, Yinka, who is now the voice of Tender. She announced on Instagram, I've quit my day job. I am now a full-time voice actor. And because she fell in love with audiobooks, and she's got books lined up. She stays at home in her little whisper booth and does her books, and she's making enough to survive on voice acting and making quite a name for herself. Isabella knows Yinka. Yinka was also one of the leaders down at the VO Atlanta. Another one of my students, Carlise Burke, who many of you have seen in sitcoms. She called me one day. She's an established actor, but she's, you know, an older or more mature actor. And she said, I'm trying to expand myself, and my agent keeps telling me doing voice acting, but he keeps sending me animals to play. I'm not an animal player. I mean, she was just I don't play birds. I said, girl, get in this class. We're going to have fun. We're going to act like we're 4 years old again. I gave her every bird I had her playing pigeons and eagles and penguins, because they're all very different birds. You know, they all sound very different if they had voices. Well, she laughed and had a good time and loosened up. Do you know that she went back and landed Queen Tweety in Warner Brothers' Tweety Bird? You can hear her as Queen Tweety.
It opened up a whole new world. It was a game changer for me, but I never really felt like I knew what I was doing. Rolonda has a way of meeting each of her students exactly where they are.
So people are really doing it. I've seen students who came in feeling just like you feel probably right now, overwhelmed. Very much like I felt when I started in the business, because I thought, sure, because the operator knew my voice, I could just break in. I mean, everybody knows my voice. Why can't I just break in? But it wasn't that easy for me. I was struggling until I took a course. And so I'm saying all this to say too, that if you need help and you want to take some of the things that we talked about here a step deeper, I do have a master class, whether it's my class or somebody else's class. That's your choice. Find somebody that you can work with and really go dive deep, somebody who's going to put you to task, who's going to help you find your range and challenge you, push you, hold you accountable, teaches you not only about the technique of acting, because I'm going to tell y'all something. Technique will beat talent every day. If you know the techniques of voice acting, and you combine that with the talent of acting and understanding what the industry standard is, you can win. Lori, how you doing? You can win, right? Lori's just nodding.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm like, hi. So I'm off.
Hi.
Hey, Rolonda. So I have this raspy voice. I'm already making excuses for my voice down here in New Orleans. But that's what we do, right?
That's what we do.
However, after I took that course, it did land me a spot, you know, U.S. Navy. I am a retired naval officer, and it landed me a spot, you know, and, you know, also Rolonda, you didn't mention, and I see a couple other folks that was in the class before that I'm working with now. I see Kenny, I see Autumn, my military doc, some veterans.
Right.
But you got to take a class, because when you get those instructions to pull back and give more, you have no idea what they're talking about. So in order, I just completed one of the reels, but without the course, I wasn't able to do it. I didn't understand anything. And when when you prepared, you're no longer scared. I really believe that. So I wouldn't have never guessed I would have landed a Navy spot. Even doing standing work on the movie sets, when they selected me to, fill in for a role after taking a course, I felt comfortable, with these big directors. It was like, hey, Lori can fill in, she can do the script. I was like, no way. And it happened. But I understood the technique. I understood the verbiage. I understood what they were saying. But without class, you can't do it. You got to have some type of training. So I recommend that, completely. Thanks, Rolonda. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, darling. Y'all, let me tell you a little bit what I'm offering here, and I've got a special offer that I want to offer to you guys, because I'm just so appreciative that you are interested in what I think is one of the greatest crafts in the world. And I don't care where I am. Y'all hear me on Clubhouse and 50 million other places. I am always talking about voice acting. I think it is one of the greatest. And I'm going to tell you something. When I was in transition, when I was in between jobs or in between crafts, that voice acting came in handy. It came in handy. I look at it as it being part of me participating in my own rescue. It was a wonderful way to find something new, to distract myself from being, as I told you back in the day, I was on the picket line with the writers who went on strike, but I was still keeping myself busy and going toward my goal. And I hope that's what my class has done. Lori, you have done so well. So many of you who are here from the class, I love you. I'm so glad to see you. But let me tell you, I offer a 6-week course called Rolonda's Voice Acting Masterclass, where you're going to use your instrument, and it's going to be like a vocal playground. We go from everything from setting up your sound space, which I call your sacred sound space, where you're going, and it could be your closet, it could be a corner of your office. And I'll show you all the different places that I've made, wherever I move, I can make a sound space so I can continue working wherever I am. Also, how to break down scripts, how to build characters, how to really take those daring chances to really stretch out. Because remember, casting directors have heard this stuff all day. We're going to start May 8th. And so they want you to do something that's going to stand out. I also bring in VO pros, some of my friends who are tops in the industry, to come and talk with you. And I think that's a wonderful way for you to build relationships. And the good thing is, I'm working in the industry day to day too. So you're going to get real-time information, stuff from an actor who's out there working. It really helps prepare you to make your demo reel, because that's where I want you to win. I want you to win, number one, but I really want you to, I want to challenge you to at least work on 3 different voices while you're in the class, so that by the time you get to your demo reel, you got some stuff in your hip pocket you've already worked on, you're already ready for. I'm so happy that when my students go out, when they've graduated, they always talk about the confidence they had because of the class. They had confidence and they had momentum. I'm going to offer a little discount if that is something that you are interested in.
And Rolonda, I wanted to say, I got taken a class more than once, right? So I've even come back in the class. And also, you don't find many, actors and actress who actually take their time and give back to the community, give back to other new, give back to people who want to, get into the business. So I just want to say thank you, because that's something you do not find. I've been on a movie set where one of the, the top stars said they want to get together with maybe the stand-ins, a group of maybe background people, but they don't have the time. So actually to have somebody to take the time, that's powerful. And that's a big deal, because that gets you to the next step with your resume. You get to put on, Rolonda Watts master's course. You've taken training from this, because that's something that they ask you. Do you have any training? And when you don't, it's like next. So that's just a thought for everyone. Yep.
Thank you, Lori. And I am happy to say a lot of my students have said, somebody asked them, where were you trained? And they said, Rolonda. They were like, oh, okay, you got it. Because they know I'm serious about this stuff. But it does make a difference. I mean, people who want, I mean, I even have my demo reel, some of my demo reel buddies say they just not doing everybody's demo reel. Like if you don't, it's because you know what happened during COVID? So many people came in and got a microphone and thought they could be voice actors. And that's really not the way it works. You really need the education. This isn't something you can fake it till you make it. It's not something that's going to fall off a truck and roll into your ear. You really have to apply yourself, do the work, and be serious about it. And settlement is complete. Okay, well, Brandon, we'll be happy to take you when you're ready. Thank you, Diva. Rolonda is awesome. Thanks for the amazing time. You are so welcome. But if you guys want to sign up for the course, I hope you will. And I would love to have any questions from you. If you have any questions about anything, conversational is what people want to hear today. Non-announcery. Those are words that we hear a lot today in our business. They don't want you talking like this all the time.
Hi, Rolonda. This is
Hi.
Hope from Cleveland,
Hey.
Ohio. Have a question.
Yeah.
What do you suggest we use? And I am going to sign up for the class. I just have a couple of things I have to do, but absolutely. I reached out to you via social media some time ago about you offering via a course like this. So when I saw that you were offering it, I was so excited. I was like, oh, absolutely. So to know that you are offering the 6-week course, that's phenomenal. What do you suggest we use or we take to preserve our voices?
Well, you know something, I think that what helps a lot is not overusing your voice. I mean, and especially when you're a voice actor, you really have to be aware of that. I often jokingly say, I can't go out and hang out with my girlfriends and be screaming at the corner social and then have to go the next day and perform Professor Wiseman. I'll be like, hey, George, what's up? You know, you gotta, little things like that. You can't be screaming at the game. You really have to watch it. And also little things, some of us drink a lot of throat coat as a tea, but there are other people who say that there are other teas that are better for your voice. I think that warm water is always good. Only take the lemon if you're feeling a little down for some vitamin C, but otherwise it might get a little too acidic on your voice. So be careful about that. Also be careful about clearing your throat. Sometimes we're violent on these it's all the issue of the tissues. We have very tender tissues here. And when we speak, we rub, like this, and you don't want to create calluses and stuff by, some of the ways we clear our throats is just violent on our throats. Really just a sip and a deep swallow is supposed to be enough. Now, there are times you get a little something going, but, a deep swallow, things like that. Warm water as opposed to cold water, some believe. Some believe that tea is better than coffee. Some people believe when you go in the booth and you have coffee, you'll be too jittery. Some people think it wakes you up okay. And don't drink soda before you go in the booth or you'll be burping. Little things like that are ways to take care of your voice. Of course, watch your smoking and your brown liquor and whatever else you do on the weekends that might be affecting your voice as well. I do ginger tea with honey. Ginger's good for your tummy. Milk is not good. Milk, cheese, things that have lactose in them is not good. You'll be trying to clear your throat because of the mucus in it. So you don't want to do that. Okay, let's see. I shaped my grandmama down for the next class. Well, honey, you do that because let me tell you, for those of you who say, oh my God, that's a lot of money. It really is not when you think about an investment in yourself. Remember, there are assets and then there are liabilities. An asset is when you invest in something where you get a tremendous return, you get something back, something that your enrollment is going to take you someplace. And a liability is when you just lose your money. This is going to be something that's going to help you. It's an investment in yourself and your future, and you will make it back after your first gig or so. And also check your state and where you live. It could also be a tax write-off because it's an education. It's you trying to get more work for Uncle Sam. He'll be happy to hear that. I would say check your area and check with your accountant. But that's certainly something to consider because you are starting a new career. This isn't just a bunch of people sitting in a closet making up a bunch of noises. We are making money. This is about a career. We call ourselves solopreneurs. I said, at least an entrepreneur, you get an assistant. We're out there in a little closet by ourselves making it work. Yes, Alonzo, what's your question? Unmute yourself.
You're up.
Oh, look! Yay! That's from VO Atlanta, right?
Yes, ma'am. I got to reach out to you. I want to be in this class. Okay.
Because I tell y'all, when you're prepared, you're no longer scared. You're going to walk out this class and you're going to have this business. Let me tell you what, you're going to save so much time. No need in you going out there living on a hope and a dream. If you prepare yourself and you really take full action and take control of this dream in your future, you can make this happen. But I don't think you can do it without education. Whether it's my class or someone else's class, I do believe it's imperative for you to learn the language, learn the basic techniques of acting, learn how to break down those scripts. How do you market yourself as a voice actor? How do you get the attention of agents and casting directors? How do you do auditions and you don't have an agent? We talk about all those types of things that will help you get prepared to start a new career, to start a new business, and to really take it seriously. The only people who don't make it in voice acting are the people who quit. It really is a business that you have to hang in there. It doesn't happen overnight. I used to say that, but I can't even say that anymore because I have so many students who are doing extremely well, just doing fantastic work.
Hi, Rolonda. This is Yusuf in Atlanta. I had a question. How do you think AI will impact the industry?
Oh, that is a great question. AI is a big deal right now. I'm wondering what it's going to mean. There's a big argument that AI is never going to replace the human voice. There's something about the emotion and the connection that the human voice has that no one else, that no machine can do. But also the AI is of concern because let's say Coca-Cola wants Morgan Freeman, but they don't want to pay that money. They could get some AI to do it. And so now the question is, should we be trademarking our voices? These are things, as a voice actor, we have to fight for ourselves like every other industry. That's why I'm so glad we have unions. Thank God. Because, when everything changed to digital and everything, and things started changing to the internet and gaming, our contracts had to change. And we had to fight for a lot of those things that we're getting now.
So after your class, will we have an agent?
It really is up to you and what you do. I used to say when I started my class, to be quite honest with you, I used to have a total disclaimer and say, I cannot tell you you're going to get agents. I cannot tell you you're going to get jobs. I cannot promise you anything. And I would say, don't expect but I can't say that anymore because I got people like Laurie who are out there making it happen. I've got people like you remember this guy, y'all? Hold on. I am so proud of Manny. I keep talking about Manny. Manny, y'all might remember him from The Voice. Have I shared yet? Am I sharing yet? Here you go. This is Manny from The Voice. And he took my class. And this is the other thing. You may be a singer who has used your voice and you want to expand. You want to grow exponentially. You might be an actor already. And when things get slow in your acting gig, your voice acting gig is going to come in and slam it home. You're going to be working as an actor, whether they see you or not. Here's Manny, who he just graduated from the class.
Manny Cabo here. And you guys might recognize me from a tiny little show on NBC called The Voice, or Telemundo's La Voz, or maybe even one of the lead singers of the Wizards of Winter Christmas Spectacular. I'm here to talk to you guys about Rolonda Watt's masterclass for voiceover artist. I got to tell you, when I first delved into this industry, so many of my friends would say, Manny, you want to learn voiceovers, you got to take Ro's class. And they hit the nail on the head with this one. Because after the 6-week intensive masterclass, not only did I feel inspired and empowered, but above all educated with all the latest trends and tips and techniques from industry professionals that Rolonda will bring on to showcase to help you leverage your skills as well. So folks, if you're looking to really up your game and delve into the voiceover world, then take Rolonda Watt's masterclass. You'll be glad you did. And Rolonda, thank you so much for inspiring me to continue to do the things that I love with my voice. You're a rock star. And for those of you out there looking for the best voiceover masterclass, Rolonda's the way to go. Oh, and by the way, you're welcome. Take care, guys, and good luck.
I love that Manny. I love him. But Manny didn't realize that he could double his money. Manny speaks Spanish. So he's two actors in one. He's got two different careers going, the Spanish lane, the English lane, and he could play it. He may have another accent in there. I had an anchor woman, Michelle Brown, who some of you may know, who took my course, and she had always been in the news business, very broadcasting, and wanted to break out. So we gave her a fun animation to play. She came in and broke into this Jamaican accent, and remember that, Lori? And the whole class went, "What? What? Where did this woman come from?"
Very impressive.
You could just see the woman. She was so good. She said her whole background was Jamaican, and she was playing her auntie. Look in your family. Your family, you can find some of the best voices you've ever heard in your life. Those accents that you have. Priscilla, put on a little Puerto Rico. That's going to help you. I got an audition the other day, and they said they wanted a Latina accent, but try it different ways. And I'm like, I don't know, but I know Priscilla. So Priscilla, I was playing you.
Rolonda, what about the other, there was another guy in the class. He was already an actor. I can't think of his name right now. And he landed a big show, but he's the toughest guy in LA. You remember?
Oh, Jasper.
Jasper, yes, Jasper. I see him on television all the time when I turn the channel.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he took the class too.
If you watch Lifetime and you like those killer movies, Jasper is usually the murderer. He's like the homeless guy who stabs somebody. I mean, he's like always the bad guy. And he said, Rolonda, he goes, I have a very good career, but all I play is bad guys. Because when you see him, he looks, a little rough. And he said, but when you talk to Jasper, he has the most beautiful, melodic, sweetest voice. And I said, Jasper, you have a whole nother acting career without you being seen. You have just started your career all over again from scratch because nobody's seen this side of you and they don't need to see this side of you. So look at Jasper, y'all. I'm going to show him to you.
She is the best. I was able to book another scripted podcast role. I'm on a veil for a commercial. The confidence that I got during these past 6 weeks, and it was invaluable, and it gave me so much confidence. So this is a huge thank you to Rolonda.
I did not pay him to say that, but he's getting paid. You know what? He fell into a whole new genre that's happening now called podcast dramas. That those podcasts are now they're storylines. They're full blown, like you're going to the movie. Like remember back in the day when we used to watch the radio, the shadow knows and all of that stuff. Well, that stuff's coming back. And let me tell you something else that's big these days that's new. People, big writers like James Patterson and, some of these Grisham and all these great mystery writers, instead of having just an audio book where someone narrates, they now have what we call audio dramas. Well, they'll bring in a lot of stars to play the different roles in the books and a narrator. So there are more opportunities than ever in places that you don't even know about yet. You don't even know what your voice can do yet. So come in there and come in this class and get surprised. Push yourself, challenge yourself. Don't put it off and wait another year talking about, well, I don't know, because you'll be that much further, you could be working in a year. I see my students who do very well really pop within 2 years after taking the class. They really do. Laurie, don't they? Everybody seems to be doing something. They're getting it going. Diane, you have a question?
I'm really excited about attending your class. However, I would like to know if you had payment plans.
And yes, of course, I have payment plans. Honey, listen, I know we are all trying to pinch some coins. So go over when you enroll, and you will have payment plans for up to 4 payments. I'm trying to make it very affordable. But the My Voice is 20, all in capital letters, My Voice is 20 coupon only applies to the full enrollment. But you save $400.
Will we leave the class with a demo reel? That's the first question. And the second is, will we leave with a clear understanding of how to go forward after the class?
Number one, I do not believe in taking a class that's going to give you a demo reel. Okay. I believe that taking a class in voice acting is a whole different situation than making a demo reel. Class will help you prepare to make that demo reel. And I would not suggest you make a demo reel until you are absolutely at your very best.
Okay.
You don't want to go, you only get one time to make a good first impression. And you don't want to make a demo reel if you're not really ready. And I would suggest a class or 2. A lot of my students will leave my class and go and take another class. Because one of the things I'm going to tell you as an artist is that I really want you to explore all sides of you. I want you to take a comedy class. I want you to take a singing class. Do you know that I'm taking a singing class right now? Because I get so many Disney auditions and I have to sing. And I kept telling myself, I say, you better do what you tell your students. Every time I get one and I have to sing 6 bars, I'm like, oh no. And I shouldn't be like that. I should be like, I'm prepared. I'm not scared. And sing my 6 bars and call it a day and go to the next audition. I believe in taking an improv class. That's another fun thing we do a lot of in a class, is doing a lot of improvisation. I base my acting techniques on Uta Hagen and Sandy Meisner. Those are acting methods that I grew up on and that I believe in. And they're basically methods, techniques that help you ground yourself as an actor more into truth and tapping into your own emotions and experiences to find that. And that's what we work on in the class. But don't take a class where anybody promises you a demo at the end. Those are 2 entirely different sessions. And if you're in a class, chances are you're not ready to make a demo at the same time. Okay?
Okay. I want to just answer that one, that you did bring in these different top LA casting directors. So like myself and I think, and Kenny and a couple other folks that are on the line, we took classes that we were able to work one-on-one. Because sometimes after you do the class, you have the understanding, the knowledge. So now how do I go forward? So those different casting directors that you brought in, top casting directors from LA, that, we was able to work with them one-on-one. And when they felt comfortable and we felt comfortable, that's when they allowed us to do a demo reel. So that's just to maybe answer that in the visual.
Well, one of the things, and Laurie, I'm glad you brought that up. One of the things I love to do is surround my peeps with nourishing and safe environments. I will bring in people that you will build relationships with. A lot of my students go on and take classes from my friends. They just continue, or they'll go do coaching with some of the people. Because I bring in some of the top people. I mean, those are my buddies. We all grew up in the industry together, and that's a way, I kind of give it as a wink, wink way for us to build relationships, because that's part of business too. I don't believe in networking. I think that sounds like a bunch of guys in brown suits with brown liquor talking cigars. I believe in building relationships. So you'll see these people at VO Atlanta. You'll see them. And the VO community is so different than the physical acting community, that eats its young and stabbing backs and don't tell anybody and help nobody. We're not like that. The voice acting industry is we help each other, we share and support each other in a different kind of way. It's a wonderful community to be part of.
It's just a quick observation. Rolonda, you have been consistent since day one. Since I met you in KLA, down in most recently VO Atlanta, you've just been very consistent. But my question is this: what is the biggest challenge that you face transitioning from a broadcaster to a voice talent?
Oh my gosh. I think it's what you guys will also face, just being yourself. It reminded me of transitioning from being a news reporter to the talk show host. I remember the producers used to call me and say, "Stop being the reporter, be Rolonda," because nobody wants to hear you talk to them. Like, they just want to hear you talk like this. And and a lot of times it's like, is that enough? Is that good enough? Is that going to be what's going to get me the job? But that's the toughest thing, is learning how to be natural. And those are acting skills. When you hear people that sound like the girl on the subway and the people who are, let's start listening this week to everything. This is one of your takeaways. Listen to everything: radio, commercials, animation, audio books. You can go listen to me. I'll read you my book, Destiny Lingers. I did the whole audio book on that. Destiny Lingers. Maya Angelou endorsed it. And that's a whole nother, some people build houses on just doing audiobooks. But the toughest thing I found was just being myself, not sounding announcery, not sounding like a broadcaster, not sounding commercial, just sounding like the girl next door. And it used to be that they didn't want you to sound black as the black neighbor. Now, that's all you hear is ethnic. You'll hear an Eastern Indian person. You'll hear somebody with a Latino accent. You can hear gay people. You hear trans people. You hear everybody. Diversity and inclusion. Because let me be completely honest with you. 5, 6 years ago, half of you on this platform would not be in the industry. I mean, almost all of us, let's face it. This was not an industry for a lot of people of color. Let's be real about that. And that is why I am really on this also, because I want you to win, because the pendulum isn't always going to be the flavor of the month. So I really want you to really have a stronghold in this industry and know what you're doing and win. Don't go out there all willy-nilly. You'll waste years and time and money wandering around in the wilderness. Go out there with your backpack full. You got stuff in your pocket. You're ready, because it's not easy to break into this industry. But the people who do are the ones who keep showing up, keep getting those auditions in, who don't give up. And, there were times when I wasn't booking and I had a bad attitude. And y'all know that ain't even part of my thing, having a bad attitude. I've had a lot of faults, but bad attitude ain't one of them. And I went to my agent and I said, I'm getting to a point where I don't even want to do auditions anymore, because I'm not going to get it anyway. And he said, get yourself in a class. And sure enough, that class turned me around, because I got to tweak my brain a little bit. Instead of worrying and wondering and upset, I started targeting on technique and business and setting up my career. My business. This is a business, y'all. You're hanging a shingle on the door. I'm in business now. One little person in a closet and a microphone, and your imagination, which is unlimited. It's unlimited. So, it's really up to you, but you can make it happen. But you gotta, I do believe that having a class is what's going to really help you cut through a lot of the confusion. You can also go to Rolonda.com. I'm gonna put this in here too, ROLONDA.com, and you can find out more about the class and hear some more testimonials. You can hear my reels. I didn't want to play all my reels for you, but you can go and listen. But authenticity is everything. Yes, indeed. Robin says, who could help us with a demo tape? I've got all of that. And when you leave my class, I'm going to put you in my community. So they're going to give you the Rolonda family break. So you're not going to pay all that money. We got people, when you get ready to buy your equipment or you want to do that, we got the Rolonda family people, after doing this course, which was created during COVID, by the way, because a lot of people were losing their jobs. And they were like, or they hated their job and they didn't want to go back. And this was an opportunity to do something new and they could do it from home. And a lot of people became voice actors. And I was teaching people because I wanted them to live and survive and be part of their own rescue plan. And they did it.
Hey everybody, Exodia here. I am an actor and comedian, and I recently completed Rolonda's voice acting master class. I can't think of a better place to hone my voice acting skills, and I certainly can't think of a better person to learn from. Rolonda is a consummate professional and a decorated voice acting artist, master artist. If you're looking to hone your skills in voice acting, Rolonda's knowledge is the perfect place to start. Definitely send her a message, sign up, you won't regret it.
Yes, Regina, let's get your question in.
Hey, Rolonda, it's so good to say hi to you. And next time you come to Winston-Salem, I owe you that glass of wine.
Oh, girl, I can't wait to see you.
I know, same here. You know, just where you are in the conversation, basically is where my question has been. I've watched you since I was much younger on your show, and I've always admired you for being the strong woman that you are. I watched you during the pandemic when you started this course, and I've always wanted to ask you, how do you keep it going? I mean, you've kind of touched on the things that the challenges of the last 3 years, which there have been advances, but there have been a lot more challenges. And for me, as a Black woman, I have gotten in a place where I've just been stuck. Mm-hmm. So that's what I want to, you can give me a brief answer and then we can continue the therapy session.
Girl, listen, we all need it every once in a while. Because listen, I went through it. I went through it during COVID. COVID was not easy for me. I went through it, child, because my career was going to acting and I was doing stand-up comedy. I was about to go on tour. It was in March of 2020. I was supposed to open at the Gotham here. We were going to go on tour for comedy and everything crashed. And I just, oh girl, it was something else. And so I just said, you know what? I've got faith. My faith is everything. I'm not going to give up. I know that God gave me too many gifts for me to ever go hungry. And that is when I learned that if I don't go within and find my own gifts, because we couldn't even leave the house. You know, LA was all about, we don't have meetings, we have parties. You know, that's where you get your business schmoozing. You couldn't even schmooze. How are you going to get work? And you can't get work because all the productions were down. And I started seeing people who were like, how can I reinvent myself? Rolonda, and I was doing this reinvention thing and nobody understood what that was about before COVID. When COVID hit, everybody came over to the reinvention retreat. And I said, you know what? The one thing that kept going was the voice industry. And that thing saved my life. And I said, other people, I can help other people. And that's when I started the course that I've learned. I'm going to teach you everything that I've learned that you can do at home. And it kept people from freaking out over COVID. They could order their microphones from home. Amazon came to the house. They got in the closet. They started a new career in the middle of COVID. And a lot of these folks are out there working and doing it. And I felt it was wonderful for me to give back. So I think that when you find yourself in a dumps, that how can you give back? How can you be of service to others? I think is a way that we save ourselves. And calm down and have faith and look within yourself. And a lot of things that save us, y'all, are things that we love to do as children. I remember I used to talk so much as a kid. My daddy would give me a tape recorder and tell me, go in your room and tell the story to the tape recorder. And I want you to make up, he said, and make up all the voices. And I want you to do the sound effects. And I'd be like, okay, daddy. And I would go in that room for hours, making up voices and running the water and making paper sounds. And then I'd play it for family after dinner. I look in my life today, Regina, and that's exactly what I do to pay my rent and mortgage, is I go in a little room, tell stories, and make up voices. Like my friend said at VO Atlanta, he said, like, when I was a kid, I used to make up a little voices. Now I'm an adult and I make sure they all get paid.
I love that. I love that.
I do.
And I
too.
got to
I
tell
think-
you, Rolonda, just so you can know that you impacted, I'm sure not just me, but a lot of other people. I watched you when you did that whole like reinvention during COVID. And it really, it gave me, it filled me up, even though I didn't go to the retreat. But just to see you doing that, it meant something to me. So what you're doing for everybody is just amazing. So thank you so much for everything you do.
Thank you so much. It just makes me feel so good when I see people come into the class and they really don't, they just have this burning desire and just don't know who to trust or where to go. And, and because everybody wants to take your money, and then when I see them 6 weeks later, after they finish the class, and then I see them 6 months after that, it just blows me away. And I know we're on the right path. And I promise you, you can do this. It's really up to you. Now, I tell people, look, knowledge isn't power. It's the application of knowledge that is supreme power. So I'm going to pump you up with everything you need to know. And what I don't know, the experts coming in going to tell us. We'll find out. You're going to meet people who you can continue your relationships with when it's over. You always have all the voice acting masterclass students, hundreds of students who've come through since COVID. They're your friends. They're your buddies. So that's the other good thing about a masterclass is that you have a community around you. A supportive community. You might call and say, hey, Marlon, you want to go work out a little bit? We can go work on our scripts. Or come on, Cynthia, let's go on over to Clubhouse and see what they're doing over there. You got a running buddy to go out with. Somebody might say, hey, like somebody called me and said, Rolonda, any of your students a male who speaks Spanish? I said, Manny Cabo gonna call you in 10 minutes. Manny, because I get stuff I'm gonna turn on to y'all. So having a community like that, we were just at VO Atlanta. Bunch of us met there from the class. We never met before. So we had a little community. Hey, Kenneth, I see you down there. We had a community that ran around VO Atlanta, VAMC. That's what we call Voice Acting Masterclass, VAMC. I said, what y'all think this is, HBCU? But we have a good community where we stick together and we support each other. You can also set up a what do we call a discovery call with me. If you go to my website, you can do that and we'll see what we work out, Denise. But stay in contact with me because I want you to take the class. We really have fun. We really do have a good time. And everybody, everybody's participating. Every time you come in, it's going to be like you're auditioning. So by the time you get out of the class, and it's time for you to get to work and audition, you're not going to be freaked out because that's what we do all the time. You're going to be like, oh, I got this. You'll be breaking down your scripts the way we learn, approaching the mic, doing your characters, knowing how to audition, send it in. You'll be ready. You'll be practicing. You'll know how to practice. You'll know what to look for, what to listen for. And as you're listening this week to everything, the way voice actors, we close our eyes as we listen, because if I can believe it, then the audience is going to believe it. If that makes sense. So we got to get you into the believability area. I don't want any readers. I want actors, real actors. Okay, we're going to work on that, Denise, because I want you in this class now. Diva lifestyle strategist. How are you?
I am phenomenal. Listen, I don't really have a question. I just want to say thank you. This was phenomenal. You are rocking it, girl. I am just having so much fun. And when you talked about diversity, listen, I have a disability, and this is the time. This is the time for us. It doesn't matter whether you're Black, white, Spanish, old, young, whether you have a physical challenge or not. This is it. We can do this.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I have a dear friend who is, well, something I don't say, I can't possibly say disability because he is not disabled in any way, even though he's in a wheelchair. But he's gotten to the voice industry, and you know what he does? He does Bible readings for the blind.
Oh. Wow.
I've got so one disability helping another disability. Or that's, I don't want to use that word, but impairment or whatever. We got to be politically correct and say the right things. Diva, you have to teach me what to say.
Yeah,
but the bottom line is there is no disability when it comes to voice acting.
Absolutely. Hey, in life, right? Whatever you got going on, we all got challenges, but we can all get through it.
That's right. That's right. And your voice is just as beautiful on a commercial as mine is. You and I could be talking together as friends, and that's all they hear is our friendship.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
You know?
Thank you.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome. Hey, Roland. Oh, girl, Roland, I like that. Ro.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Great. Yeah, I've been trying to. Like I said, I've been following you since high school and college.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because I felt camaraderie with you because I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina.
All right, that's where my mom is from.
Yes. And so, and I'm an educator. I've been teaching for 25 years here in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. So I'm like you said, a lot of this stuff we're doing anyway. So, I guess my question is, how would would it be best to hire an agent or so once if I decided to take the class, is it best to sign up, like I said, with an agent so they can get the gigs, or what would you suggest?
Well, first of all, I want you to be at the top of your game before you start sending stuff out to be an agent.
Oh, okay.
Because even if you got to get let me tell you, for a physical actor, you have a headshot and a resume. They've all said that, leave your headshot and resume. Well, for a vocal actor, it's all about your demo reel. That minute and 20 seconds, that 3 to 5 voices that show your range in one, that's going to help you get an agent. Because that's what the agent's going to help use to get you a client. So really, before you even start thinking about an agent, get thee to a classroom. They laugh at me. They say, Ro always says the road to Rome, all roads lead to, they say Ro, all roads lead to Rome. I say all roads lead to the classroom.
Right.
That you have really got to have an understanding. Let's say some fluke happens, like my engineer friend, and you get called in to do a gig. And they say, well, can you work from home? And you say, sure, because I got my stuff set up in my closet. Right. They say, well, do you have Source Connect? And you go, huh?
Right.
They say, do you have some earphones? They don't mean the little earbuds.
Right.
Studio. Source Connect is that thing that connects you to the studio. It's an interface that connects you, that you have to work from home. So understanding those basic things to see if you're industry standard. An agent isn't going to represent you if you're going to embarrass them and you don't have the right equipment at home.
Right.
And you haven't even tested your sound. You don't have a demo reel. No, that's what you're in the class for. So you can get your checklist of what you need to be successful in this career.
But I wanted to, branch out a little bit more.
Well, and let me tell y'all something. A good voice class is going to help you in whatever you do. Some of you do podcasts. Some of you do the announcements at church. Some of you like to give speeches or tell stories. All of that's, even if you're going in to make an argument to get a raise, all of your voice control and training in your voice is going to help you in everything you do. Everything. The voice is the most powerful instrument on earth. And the more you get to know your voice, you don't even know what your voice can do yet.
So how
until you get in there.
Books? Because that's really something I'm interested in, the audiobooks. So, because I love reading.
Yeah. Well, now audiobooks is a wonderful area, and you don't necessarily need an agent to do that. And we talk about ways that you can go around and you can, but I want you to be at your best before you turn in auditions, because, it's a very small industry. Somebody gets a bad audition, chances are they see your name again, they're not even going to listen. So
Right.
don't put yourself in a position to hurt yourself. You know, sometimes we get good and we think we can start smelling ourselves and running out there. Don't be really careful because it's a small industry and they remember. Preparation is also respect for the industry. You know, this whole
Right.
thing that has taken over the world of fake it till you make it. I hate that stuff. I hate that. Don't fake it till you make it. Look, do it till you get it better. You know, just do it, and you're bettering yourself all the. I still take classes. I still do it. We all take classes. That's what artists do. You don't walk out there on a wing and a prayer and spit and tape. No, you're educated. You know what you're doing. You're a business person if you want to win.
Right.
That's what intelligent people do. That's right, Regina. Do it till you can't fail. The only way you're going to fail is if you quit or you don't prepare yourself. Then you'll just get kicked out of the business. Thank you, Ro.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sweetie. DF Rising. Yes, and then we're going to wrap up if we don't have any more questions.
My question is, I'm one of those people that thousands of people have said, you've got a great voice, you should be on the radio, you should do this, you should do that, you shouldn't be doing this kind of work, you should be out there doing something else. And so I'm giving it a shot to see. My question is there still a niche for guys that have a voice like mine? And also, how am I able to kind of break out of that sort of stereotype to be able to do other types of work?
Well, first of all, did everybody hear how DF sounded right there? That is gold. Laura, is that what you're finding? That is gold. What you just heard right there would slam an audition. Sounded like no effort, just talking like regular folks. I could hear you selling me a Jeep, an Outback truck. I could hear you selling me some barbecue. I could hear you talking about maybe insurance. You have that warmth. Did you feel the warmth in his voice? Almost kind of had a little country flavor to it, a little slow cadence. Like there's nothing like a good rib of barbecue. Sitting by the fire with your bodies. You see, I got you right there. But that's what you have naturally. I could see the rib juice dripping off your fingers. But that's the beauty of the class too, because you get to find out, where does my voice fit in? You know, if I learn my range, oh my gosh, I learned I can do 10 different voices. I was dealing with only one. I can be this kind of character. I can be that kind of voice. I can do this. And you learn ways, the techniques of acting are going to teach you how to diversify. But then after you find all those voices, where do they fit? Are you a commercial person? And if so, do you play nurses and do you do medical stuff because you got that kind of authority in your voice? We learn about the values in our voices. What are the adjectives that would describe your voice so that when the barbecue commercials comes in, the agent goes, oh my God, we got DF, get him in there now. And you'll know, I get Barry White all day long, says LaSalle Barnes. Well, come on with it. Guess one of my friends just got the job of Calm. He's the voice of Calm, Marcellus.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, that deep voice. Wow. He's got a voice. I told Marcellus, he makes my ribs rattle. What he was in a room, he was in one of the clubhouse rooms, and one of the men said, man, I think I just got pregnant.
Oh, wow.
He's like below Barry White. And he's like, well, where's this voice going to fit in? Well, guess what? He's the voice of Calm. Calm, meditation, that's a whole genre in itself. Wow. How many of us can't sleep, full of anxiety, freaking out? All of that stuff is blown up. Calm voices, massage, meditation. That's a whole lane of voices, people. There's so many avenues of voice work. I can't even begin to tell you. And never has there been a better time for voices with texture and newbies in the business. So take advantage of that and look at that as a wonderful place to be. Come on, Luz. Thank you, DF. I got you, DF. Come on, get in this class. Come on.
Can I give you a quick funny side note?
Yes, and then Luz is going to come. Yes, and then we're going to wrap up.
In a lot of my past relationships, you know how when the relationships are fresh and you're always on the phone and every past relationship I've ever had, my girl has always dozed off on the phone from listening to my voice.
Oh!
And I've had to end the phone call by pushing the button so she would hear the tone and wake up so I could say good night.
Oh, you have a bedtime voice.
Yeah.
Let me tell you another interesting genre, people. Erotica.
Oh, yeah.
Erotica is another big area too.
I heard that a lot at VO Atlanta too, as well.
Yeah. And yes, indeed. Luz, come on in here. Thank you, DF. Come on in, Luz. Ask your question. How you doing?
I stutter a lot and I have autism.
Yeah.
And I wanted to try voice acting.
Well, why don't you? Because you know what? I bet you have a keen imagination.
Yes.
And it's really the imagination that's going to something. What happens, William, is when you are so interested in what you're doing, you're going to really hone in and forget about that stuttering. And sometimes stuttering may help you. Today it's about being natural. So what if you stutter? That people stutter. So what if you have a list? It didn't hurt Barbara Walters. It doesn't hurt Viola Davis. So have confidence in what you bring to the table. And I'm excited that you're excited about voice acting, but it's your imagination. Rick Party, that's right, Isabella. Rick Party, who's huge in promos. He used to stutter, and he's a great friend. Follow Rick Party. He's got some stuttering stories for you. But yeah, when you are into it, baby, you'll work on that. That's part of what you will do to develop your talent. You'll be surprised. William, thank you so much. Let's get one last question. There was a lady trying to jump in here.
It was me, Sinful.
There
Cynthia.
she is. Come on in here,
How you
Sinful.
doing? I want to say
good,
thank
girl.
you so much. I got to meet you. I think you filled in for Shannon Green one time at Fox News Channel, and I was your prompter. I've been on the other side of the business. I started out at Howard I wanted to do musical theater. They didn't have it 40 years ago. So, and I didn't have the stomach to do the audition. So I knew I was supposed to be in entertainment. And so I did everything in entertainment. I taught it. I taught Taraji before she went to Howard. I did all these things. And now it's my turn to come in front. And I thank you for the inspiration to have the nerve to do it at 59.
That's right.
And I just want to say thank you so much. I'm going to try to make this course, and you must take classes. I agree that you have to take classes and be prepared, because we don't get but one chance if we get that.
That's right.
So we have to be
That's
ready.
right.
So if I don't make this class, trust me and believe in me that I will see you very soon. Thank you
Okay.
for giving
Well,
me
now
a chance
listen. Sinful, I got you, and y'all have my website, so you can set up a discovery call and the rest.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
you.
You
Are so welcome. Sinful, I am so happy to hear you say that, because you deserve your time in front. And I think about how much work, for somebody who's been seen for 40 years, how much of my work is when you don't see me. I mean, a lot of people are like, I didn't know that was you. Because it wasn't. I was acting as somebody else. The Rolonda thing runs its course at some point.
Right,
I got to be other people.
That's right.
To keep it going. I plan
and that's
to
where
work.
your technique comes in.
That's right. That's right.
You gotta have
I've played pirates. I've played birds. I've played, I'm a pigeon on Curious George. I'm a pigeon called Compass. Get your animal sounds down. You might have to play a truck or a tractor. What's that sound like? Look, ask SpongeBob.
Yeah.
And as crazy as it sounds, there was a moment I said, I used to be an anchor woman and a talk show host. How is that going to sound that I'm in a cartoon? What's that? What are people going to say? They ain't saying nothing after I bought on them houses with okay, playing cartoons. So yes, it can happen. Let me just say this in wrapping, because we're gonna go, because I'm way over time. I do this, Lori. I'll be talking. Y'all getting way over 2 hours per class. I'm letting y'all know, because I'll just talk until we're all done. But number one, believe in yourself. This is something that you can do. And so many of you have connected with me, and I know it's a God wink, because you've been told this all your life is something you've been dying to do, and here I am. You know, people know who I am. I ain't taking your money and running off with it. Nobody know who you were learning from. And, you know, a lot of these people are teaching. They're not even in the business anymore. But I'm learning it. I'm in it on real time. If something changes, you are right on the trend to know what it is and what's happening. And I want you to believe in yourself. And when you say like, oh, that's a lot, you know, maybe leave that Amazon loan this month. You don't need that Starbucks cock-a-mock-a-locky for $8. You stop that. Look, y'all stop that in a month, you might be able to get this class. You know, a little sacrifice here and there, people.
Yep.
Might help. But if you do this right, that investment will mean the world to you, because it's going to put you in a totally different place. And you know this. You just walk a different way on this earth when you have a little education and some know-how behind you. Can't nobody mess with you. They can't take that. Can't nobody take what you know out your head, your education. That is so important. So be the best that you can be. If you decide to do this, take it by the lapels and slam it against that wall, and don't let it go till you're done with it. Make it yours, because you can. And the more of yourself you bring to this industry, the better you're going to be, because there's nobody else like you, with your quirky self, your hoarse, raspy voice, the little squeak that you have. Some people have the highest little voices. They sound like little chipmunks. And then all of a sudden, by the end of that class, they can hit this register too. I said, oh, Lord, you came in here playing a chipmunk. That's all you could do. Now you're playing a witch. Now you're playing a troll. Now you're playing a goat. You know, it's just amazing. And when you see yourself and you're playing and you're having fun, as Shakespeare says, the play is the thing. As long as it's fun, you are going to soar. So really, just, you know, if you're serious about it, go in full blasted. And I got you. I got you. I'm going to nourish you. I'm going to make sure you win. I'm going to follow you even after graduation. Right, Lori? Right, Kenneth? Because I'll be chasing y'all down. I'll see you on Clubhouse going like, I see y'all in there, like somebody mama, like auntie looking in there. What y'all doing in there?
And NBC Universal may be giving you a call to audition like they did me early in the morning. So, yes.
That's right, honey. Listen, we were trying to get vets in voice at NBC Universal. Called me. DreamWorks called me and said, you know any vets? I said, do I know a vet in voice? I got a star for you. And took Lori right on up there to that meeting with me. And now she's getting auditions with DreamWorks and Universal, NBC Universal. They putting her on panels for voice acting for veterans and all of that. Yes, it can happen. It's all about you getting up in there, getting that education, getting the know-how, and then slamming this against the wall. Going to those VO conferences, joining the Facebook groups, really building the community. And you can start a whole new world right in your closet. That's it. Okay? So I love y'all. I'll be letting you know when the next webinar is. This was so much fun. I might have to do this again real soon.
Thank you, Ro.
Thank you so much. I love you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Y'all better get that deal. Invest in yourself and show yourself some love. And we got you. We got you.
Don't forget about your kids, because my son Brandon is he's enrolling tonight in that class. So my teenager. So your kids are good too. Yeah. All right.
Listen, well, I had a mom and her 12-year-old son take the class. And when he finished the class, he went back to school and he called me. He said, Miss Rolonda, he said, I'm the anchor man now for my school. And he swears it was the confidence he got, because he would come up and he would audition in front of all the adults and stuff. And he felt so confident reading his script, he got to school and auditioned to be the anchor man. So they do a little morning news every morning for the school on the little intercom. He knew how to work the microphone. He knew how to make his voice strong and do little voices. And he was so charming, the school made him the anchor man. I said, look at that, 12 years old. My youngest student is 7. He's a big movie star now.
I love him. He's my class. Yeah, he's in my class.
Yeah, honey, but the kids are doing it. You know, they asked the children, they said, do you like all those adults playing children? Because most of the children you hear in the animations are adults. And so he said, they took a poll and the kids said, no, we want to play children. So the children are taking our jobs. So y'all better get in there and get you some children's voices too. But listen, you guys, you are so welcome, Isabella. So good to see you, honey. I saw you in VO Atlanta, and good to see you here too. So nice to spend Sunday afternoon with you and all those beautiful people in this room. Yes, indeed, beautiful people indeed. I love you for your support. I could not do one thing I do without you. So I appreciate you. No matter what I do, there y'all are, and I appreciate you, because I know y'all like, what Rolonda doing now? But this is a fun one. I tell you, it is one of the greatest careers, one of the greatest crafts on earth. The only way you will not make it in this business is if you quit, or if you never start at all. So don't sit up here a year later, 2 years later going, doggone it, where would I have been if I had taken that class? What's going to happen? My question is, what's going to happen if you don't? You're going to have to live with that decision. So do the right thing for yourself, and I'll see you on the other side. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you so much.
Good night. Y'all look so beautiful.
Good night.
Oh, those look so beautiful. All right, bye, everybody. I hate to say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
I'm always the last one to leave the party. My mama told me about that.
Have a great
You
week.
too.
Night.
You too,
Good
Isabella.
night.
Rock the week, y'all, and listen to everything. Everything. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.